Hey guys, Buffin Gaming back, bringing another video today for our blueprint series, and today we're going to be covering the Bone Dry blueprint bundle, which gave us the Skull Shot, which you can see on screen here, which is the blueprint variant for the FAL, which turns this into the DSA-58 OSW, or Operational Support Weapon, which we have covered in a conversion series before, but being this a new blueprint, this even makes it look much better than the version we made with the prior blueprint. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So first off, you can see on screen that Bone Dry bundle. So what we have is in this bundle in the shop, it comes with the Skull Shot, which is the FAL variant for the conversion to the DSA-58 OSW, which we'll be covering today. It also has a Quick Snap submachine gun, which is a blueprint variant for the Uzi submachine gun. Has a Fishbones charm and a Crossbones sticker. Now, all this is available for only 1,600 COD points in the store, so that I personally purchased this yesterday, and I'm sure it's still available today. So you might be able to catch that in the store. And the description for this: Bone Dry, keep all your gear in a perfect working order when you adopt the Bone Dry mantra. So honestly, for a pretty cheap, only 1,600 COD points, you get two cool blueprints out of it, specifically this FAL blueprint, turning it into the DSA-58 OSW. So let's go ahead and we'll get right into covering this weapon. So here we see the final version of the blueprint itself. So let me go ahead and back out, and really quick, what I'm going to do is jump to my armory specifically for the FALs. So what we have, the previous version that we did, and I'll link the video before in the description below for the DSA-58 OSW conversion video that we did, where we covered this in more in-depth info, but we use the Smooth Dominator blueprint here. So with this particular blueprint, this was available to be unlocked through challenges, so you can reference that video below if you're curious how to unlock that. But what this one came with was the 13-inch barrel for the OSW Para, the FFS close quarter stock, and then Mo Money. But you can see cosmetically how this one looks compared to if I just, there's our Smooth Dominator, and here's our Skull Shot. So overall, this is a pretty big blueprint change just with the Smooth Dominator from the original FAL that we have in game, and then the Skull Shot really gives it that even more modernized DSA-58 OSW look to it. So let's go ahead and we'll get right into this particular weapon. So what this comes with by default on the blueprint for the muzzle, it comes with the muzzle brake. Or actually, hang on, let me double check this, because it's not showing a muzzle brake. So let's double check. Yeah, so it does come with a muzzle brake. I'm not sure why it was deselected here, so we'll reselect that. So what this comes with by default, that's why I hit square. So we have a muzzle brake on this. What this is going to do is assist us with our recoil stabilization, the cons being aim down sight speed and aiming stability. So if we were to just remove this, you can see it has more of a typical flash hider on it, and now we have the muzzle brake on there as well. So key attachment for this blueprint, which really does also help turn it into the DSA-58, is the 13-inch OSW Para barrel. So what this does is give us that DSA-58 13-inch barrel, which that particular weapon comes with. DSA being David Savago Arms, manufacturer of the FAL copy called the DSA-58. So this obviously gives it a 13-inch barrel, and your pros here are the aim down sight speed along with the movement speed, and the cons being bullet velocity as well as recoil control. So obviously this is the shortest barrel we get. Now, if we were to go to the optic, what this comes with is the thermal hybrid. So you're allowed to toggle from the 3.25 thermal optic. Then you have your 45-degree candid red dot sight there on the side mount for the Picatinny rail. And the con being the aim down sight speed. For this particular one, you can see how it does affect our mobility as well as our control, versus something like a holographic. You don't get as much decrease for your mobility control. So that's something to keep in mind, whether or not you want to keep those base attachments, specifically with the optic. Now the stock, this is the factory 18-inch aluminum stock. So this does have some minor cosmetic changes from the base FAL stock that comes with the weapon. So this pros being the aim, walking, movement speed, the cons being aiming stability for this particular stock. Perk and rear grip are skipped out on this, and then the underbarrel comes with the operative foregrip by default, which is the final foregrip that you get for this particular weapon. The pros being recoil control and cons being aim down sight speed. So overall, for 1,600 COD points, if you're an FAL fan and you've been waiting for the DSA-58, this is really, I'd say, the much better option for the conversion versus the Smooth Dominator that we covered. And again, I'll link that video below. But The major cosmetic changes here, obviously, being we have a digital camo pattern on the upper receiver and barrel there, and the lower being more of that green color that we've seen with some of the blueprints currently that have most recently been here. So we have that side folding parastock that comes with a DSA-58, as well as we have what looks like obviously more modernized cosmetics for the pistol grip. The magazine has a lot of actually changes to it, and this is just your typical 20 round magazine. There's no 25 or 30 on this particular one. And besides that, those are some really the only major changes with this. So you can see overall it has also one thing to note here is ZLR Rifle Works, Illinois, New York. So DSA Arms or David Savago Arms is located in Illinois, New York. So that's even just a nice little tidbit there, is that it's kind of a reference to say that yes, this is the DSA-58 OSW. And I believe this was in Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Correct me if I'm wrong. I forgot which one this was in. I know it was in I believe it was in a few. I think Modern Warfare 3 also, the DSA-58 was there. So I know you guys probably know better than me on which past games it was in. I can't remember off the top of my head. But you can see right there, Illinois, New York, ZLR 7.62 rifle. And cosmetically, this is a huge change to the base FAL, even from the Smooth Dominator blueprint that we covered for the Convergence series. These are major changes with the digital camo on the upper, the different colored lower receiver, the side folding polymer stock. Overall, really, really nice blueprint for this particular one. Definitely worth the 1,600 con points, in my opinion. So really quick, before we jump into the gameplay, I'm just going to jump to a custom game, and I'll show you what this looks like if we were to swap out attachments. So for the barrel being the main one here, you can see the barrel really only changes in length after the handguard. So no matter what barrel you select, you're not going to affect the blueprint cosmetics for the handguard. And then for the stock, if we were to just deselect that, you have a base stock here, no stock, FSS close quarters, and then the Forged Tac Stalker. So obviously the factory 18-inch aluminum is the one we wanted there. And then if we were to put on a 24 round mag, you can see how it would look. And then also a 30 would look like this as well. So the standard 20 that it comes with, I think, looks pretty awesome by itself. Pretty neat cosmetic changes to that. And then obviously for an undergrip, no major cosmetic changes as well. So you can really do whatever you want to this weapon and not affect the blueprint, which is pretty good to see. And other than that, if you wanted to optimize this even more, I would recommend, if you're having trouble controlling this for the recoil, because it still does kick, you may want to put a compensator, and then probably a Ranger foregrip seems to be one of the better ones to go with, or even possibly a Commando foregrip as well would be also a good option on this particular one. That might help you control the kick on this, as well as keep shots on target just a little bit more. So this is the skull shot for the bone drive bundle that we covered, and again 1,600 COD points. So I'll go ahead and show the gameplay for this particular weapon in the background. And one thing to keep in mind is that getting shots on target pretty easy. You need to have a pretty quick trigger finger for this one, because obviously it is single shot. Now there is the option for the 3-round burst for this particular rifle, so you can keep that in mind too. If you're having trouble getting the shots off, you'd want to be putting on the 3-round burst, and maybe you put it on some more attachments like we talked about, the compensator and Ranger foregrip, to help mitigate that recoil and the kick of the 3-round burst, which is going to be pretty significant. But if you can tap fire this pretty well, I think it's a very good blueprint by itself. And you'll see in the gameplay, if you are able to just get on target and quick fire, you're able to be very accurate with this. So I think by base, the blueprint itself is a very good version of the FAL. And again, turning it into that DSA-58 OSW, so operational support weapon for the FAL, so the modernized Americanized version of that particular weapon. So let me know what you guys think of this particular blueprint down below. Let me know if you're a fan of the FAL. I know a lot of you have been asking, or were asking, for the DSA-58 OSW to be in a blueprint, and when we did cover that in the Smooth Dominator blueprint that was unlocked through the challenges, I think that was a really good one. But you can just see the cosmetic changes from this are almost night and day compared to the Smooth Dominator. So this, so far, I think is one of my favorite blueprints in the game as far as overall cosmetic changes to the weapon itself. Really turning it, as we talked about, from that old school FAL into the American modernized version of the DSA-58 OSW. So you'll be able to see that version of the weapon on screen. I would have showed it before the gameplay here, so you can see it is a pretty close replica and match to that particular weapon. Now, one more thing, as far as like camo changes go, while you're watching the gameplay, if I were to just throw any camo change on, it's going to basically change the whole entire weapon besides the magazine, the optic, and the underbarrel. So really everything but the magazine is going to be affected by the camo. So I think just keeping the base camo for this is probably best. And overall, I think, as I said, this is definitely one of my favorite cosmetically enhanced blueprints that we've had so far. So again, let me know what you guys think of this particular blueprint. Let me know what you think of the FAL in general. And if you're a fan of the FAL and have you used it in game yet, and if you're interested in buying this one for 1,600 quad points. Again, you get some pretty high-end advanced attachments for this, so if you're having trouble leveling this one up, this would obviously be a good option to go ahead and purchase that, and you can throw something like Mo Money on and level it up even better. But you have overall, for 1,600 quad points, a pretty good base FAL with this particular bundle. Also, be sure to subscribe and like the channel if you are liking the content thus far. I know we've done a lot of weapon conversions, blueprints, we have some Spec Ops stuff, and with Season 2 coming up here, I know they just announced today that Season 2 is going to be delayed till February 11th, so they gave, I think, it's about 9 or 10 extra days. I believe it was originally scheduled to end on February 2nd, so a little bit extra time there to get up all 100 tiers, and I think there's going to be even more 2x tier bundles and XP boosts as well. So be sure to keep a lookout for that, and I'll try and notify you guys whenever that comes up. So be sure to also comment any weapon conversions that you want to see, any weapons that you want to see coming in for Season 2. I know there's going to be some new weapons, possibly the Vector, maybe the Crytek 2000 Intervention that we saw, the sniper rifle back in MW2 as well there, the crossbow. So let me know what new weapons you want to see in the game. Also, new blueprints that you want to see. We've talked a lot at length. I'm really hoping for an FSB Alpha AK, even an XM8 blueprint for the G36 I think would be awesome. So we're going to do some more videos on that coming up. And if you're trying to get a hold of me and you have some ideas, obviously comment down below in the description, but also be sure to check out my Instagram, Twitter in the description below. So those links are there for you if you want to get a hold of me quicker for a better response. Obviously, I'll be monitoring those a little bit more closely. It's easy for me to answer there pretty much any time on the go because I get those notifications. Also, the Twitch link is down there in the description below, so be sure to follow and subscribe to me over there. We'll be doing live streams typically on weekends and as well as over here on YouTube. And with the start of Season 2, I'll be announcing another giveaway coming up here soon, so stay tuned for that. I'll be making that announcement probably in the next week or so, and we'll announce what the details are going to be behind that. So if you didn't win for the Season 1 giveaway, you'll have another chance at possibly, I believe it's probably going to be the $35 gift cards again for your console of choice for the start of Season 2. So with that said, I will leave you guys with the gameplay. This is our Skull Shot blueprint for the FAL as part of the Bone Dry bundle, turning the FAL into the DSA, or the David Zavago Arms 58 OSW operational support weapon for the FAL, so the Americanized version of the FAL. Very pretty weapon. Love the way it handles in the thermal, especially in Realism mode is where I play, and in night maps you can use this scope and enemies stick out like a sore thumb, and you can also switch to that candid hybrid with that 45 mount red dot as well. So it's really fills two roles for a long range engagements as well as your close quarters CQB engagements when you need to engage with that red dot. So this is a very solid weapon. It definitely takes a little bit of getting used to with that single shot, but once you get the hang of it, this thing definitely shreds. And again, in Realism, headshots are one-hit kills no matter what the weapon is. So that's always a big plus too. You'll see me get some here in the background. But I'm going to leave you guys with the gameplay. And until next time, Buckner Gaming, out.
Enemy UAV overhead. Cruise missile ready to launch. Kill confirmed. Target marked. Send it.
That's a kill. Kill confirmed.